Hi, my name is Benjamin Bannerman, and I'm going to be presenting on the story of the Ashanti Empire, strength, spirit, and tradition. All right, so imagine a kingdom where we have their spiritual leaders. The people believe that the throne descends from the skies. That is something very amazing. So although the Ashanti had a huge impact on Ghana's past, it influences the culture and tradition of the spiritual leaders today. And this is a quote from Guakopumo 2022. So African societies created powerful civilization full of wisdom, strength, and unity long before colonial times. Now, it also shows how cultural identity lives through language, arts, and spiritual beliefs, according to Owusu Ansah in 2022. So, in this presentation, I'm going to be telling you about the Ashanti Kingdom and how they impacted upon Ghana's cultural heritage. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to be talking about the background of the Ashanti people, and then I'll tell you some key moments that took place in Ghana that made them play a significant role in Ghana, and I'm going to now end up telling you about the contributions and how they are seen and valued in Ghana today and the impact they have on Ghana. So the thesis for this presentation is the Ashanti Empire was built on strong leadership, spiritual beliefs, and cultural pride. So this is something that is impacted on Ghana today. So now moving on to the next slide, I'm going to be talking about the background of the Ashanti people, the key moments they had in their stories, which I've already told you, and then the legacy that still lives on. So the Ashanti people built their empire through unity and shared culture. Next slide. So how it all started. Okay, so in the National Museum of Ghana 2018, we can see that the Ashanti are part of the Akan ethnic group, and they began forming their empire in the 1600s. Sorry. And Osei Tutu was their first king. He was the first king who united the various Ashanti groups and different Akan groups together as a whole. So in Owusu Ansah in 2020 also talked about how Osei Tutu, the leader, worked with spiritual leader Okomfo Anokye to form a formidable bond in ruling the Ashanti nation. So first of all, so we can see that the Ashanti Empire was not just formed by war, but they were formed by also great and strategic leadership. Powerful moments that make their empire legendary. So we're talking about the Ashanti Empire's strength that came from the military power and spiritual traditions. So we have three famous examples that made the Ashanti Kingdom unique. Okay, so first we have the Golden Stew. So according to Owusu Ansah in 2020, we can see that Okomfo Anokye, the powerful priest and advisor of Osei Tutu, was set to conjure the golden stew from the sky to fall upon the laps of Otumfuo Osei Tutu. Now, there are many stories and legends about Okomfo Anokye and his exploits. Okomfo Anokye was a very powerful spiritual leader. Many people believe that where he lived, he was able to command the weather. Where he lived in a building where there was no roof, because whenever it rained, it never came into his house. They believe that he climbed a tree with his sandals on. They believe that he carved a game of a wire with his bare hands. There are so many stories about Okomfo Anokye that shows his greatness in the Ashanti nation. Their victories in battles, especially the Denchira and the Ashanti Kingdom, was also a fundamental part that played, according to Guakopumo in 2022. Now, the war that took place between the Ashantis and the Denchira is believed that Okomfo Anokye made certain incantations that confused the generals of the Denchira, who joined forces with the Ashantis, and the war was won by the Ashantis within 2 years. Now, the final point on Okomfo Anokye was the mystery when Okomfo Anokye decided to go for the cure for immortality. He wanted to go for the cure for immortality so that we could live without having to worry about dying. So he told the people not to dignify death. He told them not to dignify death and to rather be patient and trust him to embark on the journey and come back with a cure. While he was leaving, he left his dagger. He left his dagger and was buried on the ground and told his people that this dagger is a symbol of the strength of the Ashanti nation, for he's going to the spiritual world to bring back the cure. But the people of the Ashanti were so impatient that they started wailing. After a couple of days, they started wailing and crying and gave into the demands of death. They shot a gun that symbolized the death of Okomfo-Anokye. So Okomfo-Anokye was not able to return with the cure because they had now dignified the demands of death. So he had passed on and decided not to return to the world. And this is the story of Okomfo-Anokye. Now, moving to the next slide, we have been able to see and understand the key moments of the Ashanti Kingdom and how they balance power, faith, and strong spiritual symbols and beliefs. So, okay. What does all this mean in Ghana today? The legacy of the Ashanti people still lives on in Ghana today. Now, how does this influence continue through tradition, leadership, and culture? The Ashanti Kingdom, according to BBC News reports in 2023, that the Ashanti Kingdom, the Asantehene, still holds a traditional leadership role and is respected throughout the whole of Ghana. He is fundamentally respected and also joins in when it comes to decision making in Ghana. Cultural events such as the Akwesi Festival, and also language that are spoken also helps us to preserve the culture in Ghana. Symbolism is also a major part. That is, the golden stool also represents the culture of the Ghanaian people according to Gwakopomomo 2022. All right, so now we are able to talk about the legacy that it lives on in Ghana and what it leaves behind in the Ghanaian community. All right, so now we know that the Ashanti Kingdom was built on spiritual beliefs and strong culture. Now the empire also, we know how the empire began and the key moments and also now the legacy that lives on today. So I'd like to conclude by saying that the Ashanti Kingdom plays a fundamental role in the culture of Ghana today. Thank you.